you figure out the steps by walking, you discover the steps by walking, but other people have wandered before, and we can use that wandering to just get us in the right direction, right? Set us in the right direction. So I'm gonna turn on my video. Hopefully that works. I'm gonna show you a mind map process, okay? Blank piece of paper. And this is something that I teach in my women's writing course. I used to teach it in lots of things. Whatever the main, like, what's your book about? What's your story, right? In as few words as possible goes in the center of your page, okay? Story. And then off of this, it is as many little spidery legs as you need, are the main elements, the points you want to make, the big pieces go in little bubbles around it like this.
Yeah.
Okay. These are not straight lines. So the difference between a mind map and any sort of other brainstorming is everything's fluid. Okay. You love plants. Let this be like a tree or a vine that is just growing out in all sorts of different directions. Okay. And then each one of these has its own blossomy, sprouty shoots and sprouts out in more directions. Okay, so there's the main story, the key elements, and even that then has its little sprouts. Yeah. And again, you love plants, so maybe each one of these is a flower with petals, and each piece has all these petals, and each of the petals, see my picture, is a little detail that you want to include.
Yeah.
Right? Whether they're leaves or petals.
That's
whatever.
Awesome.
Okay. And so you can sort of outline, on some level, you are exploring your thoughts and you are coming up with a map for yourself, even a map to wander unknown territory. You are exploring. And so mine ends up being like a flower. And each one of these has little parts in it, but it's also really, really organized. Okay. Because what comes out on this end and what grows on a petal out on this far other end doesn't necessarily, like this, doesn't belong over here. This belongs through this train of thought. This is one thought, one experience, one story, and this little petal, this detail here, belongs here, which belongs here. And so once you've like, you sort of just keep going out and out and out until you've got the whole thing, and you can get your whole book in one piece of paper. Yeah. And then when you sit down to write, you just write whatever the you want to write. What part of this story are you feeling today? Yeah. But it also has structure. Yeah. Because I'm just going to share real quickly. Not the first time I sat down to write a book, but I spent most of a year and I wrote every day. And when I was done, I had 197 computer pages and I printed out my book. And I sat down and I was like, wow, this is my first manuscript. I feel amazing. I'm just going to edit it. And I read it and I was like, what the actual fuck? What is this? This is just talk. There was no structure. There was no story. There was no commonality. And I was like, is it even worth trying to make sense of 197 pages? Or do I just throw it out and start again? And that's what I actually did. I had to throw it out and start again and be like, what am I trying to say here? Wow. And that's where this helps. Because I don't, right? Morning pages are great for just bleh. But we don't publish our morning pages for a lot of reasons.
That's what I'm doing, and it's great.
Right. You need, so
Yeah.
This is so vulgar, but this is how I've always explained pages. Morning pages are essential digestion of our daily thought process, our emotions, our experiences that we need to get out. Okay? Morning pages are
Yeah.
like our
Yeah.
daily experience is the food we put into our mouths. Okay? And we need to let it move through our system,
Yeah.
and we need to poop. Okay? Your
Yeah.
morning pages are your poop. To feel
Yeah.
clear, to feel good, to feel nourished, you need to like have digested that stuff and get it out. But without that, we just have like
Yeah.
poop thoughts
Yeah.
like over and over and
Yeah.
over again.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But it's still
Yeah.
poop. We don't wrap it up and show it to somebody and say, look what
Yeah.
I pooped. Okay? Nobody
Yeah.
does that.
Yeah.
The morning pages are
Yeah.
the poop that we have to clear out of our system so that we can
Yeah.
do the next thing, right? And so I still
Yeah.
am a huge fan of story. I love the raw writing. It's really important. But if you're trying to write a
Mhm.
book or a story or an article, some sort of structure, we
Mhm.
talked about this before, like you need the
Yeah.
container to hold the raw
Yeah.
fluid, untethered. Like if you want your writing
Yeah.
to be freeing, it needs some structure to hold it.
Yeah.
Otherwise it'll never be fit
Yeah.
for human consumption by anybody else. It'll just be your digestive process, which is important, but a very different objective, right? Your digestive process is for you to, and I was writing about this the other day, in order to have a story, it needs the beginning, the middle, and the end, right? There are lessons that we learn, and so
Yeah.
our experience is not a story. Our experience is something that we're going through,
Yeah.
and we need to digest and actually have some distance from our
Yeah.
story to know what the lessons are, the gems, what are the nuggets of this whole experience
Mhm.
that that can be
Mhm.
polished and shared.
Yeah.
Your metaphor the other day was, you have these raw diamonds. You find the raw diamond and you can show someone the raw diamond, but you don't always show them the pile of dirt that you had
Yeah.
to dig through to find the diamond. You just show the diamond,
Mhm.
right? And leave the dirt elsewhere. So that's our process as the writer, is to like sort through it and separate, sort of create a story
Mhm.
from our experience by pulling back from it, and play with mind mapping.
Yeah.
um, it's a really good thing to
Yeah.
do. That's sort of your masculine energy, is like the organizing, the putting things in different categories and layers. And then once that masculine structure is there, then
Yeah.
you can always refer back to it and be like, ooh, I really want to write about this part today. And you just go. And you know that it has a place and it fits into the whole, and you
Yeah.
can just, right? So play with that
Yeah.
as a structure for your creation.
Yeah. This is super helpful. Thank you. Really. Yeah.
My pleasure.